Like what for you as a songwriter was gonna, okay, these are some ideas I have in my head. I'm gonna start jotting some stuff down, and these are gonna be songs that could be written. Like how does that mind of a songwriter work? I always wanted to know that.
Oh, that's I don't know, bro. To me, honestly, it was just I was a quiet kid.
Yeah.
You know, 9, 10 years old, I was very quiet. I didn't have friends. I didn't acquaint with anybody.
But growing up where? Tell them where you grew up.
In Oakland.
Yeah.
You know, and it was hard because, you know, I was a straight A student, and I felt like I was like not getting the attention I needed as a kid because I had so many other siblings.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I come from a big family.
Yeah.
So, you know, I didn't get that. And I started, you know, I found this keyboard, and I fell in love with this keyboard. I just wanted to make a sound out of it, playing the keyboard. And then, you know, it went from that to, let me try putting words into these melodies. And then the words started like coming from, you know, what was going on in my life as a kid.
Just your surroundings in general.
My surroundings. Like I used to get away in school, you know, write all of this. They'll tell me to write an essay or something. I'll write it in rhyme.
Yeah, in
and
song
get
form.
You feel me? You know, get an A for it. And, you know, it grew from that. It gravitated from that to writing even deeper things because, you know, when growing up, you go through a lot of trials.
Yeah.
You know, you know, a lot of people go through so much, and I did myself. And because I didn't like to share with other people, I just pulled out a paper, pulled out a pen.
Was that kind of like getaway for you? Because we talk about the music thing. Was like music, you know, picking up the keyboard or picking up a guitar, and we're talking about getting lost in the shuffle within the big family.
Right.
You know, again, it's easy in Polynesian families where you can get lost in the shuffle.
Right.
Was that like your getaway to kind of say, oh, let me just go pick this keyboard up,
it was.
play a little something, play this guitar?
Was.
Yeah.
It definitely was. I used to get whooped actually because, you know, I wasn't the kid that was supposed to be musically inclined. They had a band already.
Leave that to
you know
the
what I'm saying?
band.
Like, leave that to the band. You
That
know?
ain't you. Leave that to the band.
You ain't even a youth yet. You know what I'm saying? So you know,
just a young whippersnapper. Yeah, you don't even know what you're doing over there.
You know, and I'm breaking in the studio. I'm over there trying to make songs just because it felt good. You know, and I was able to express myself doing that. And then, you know, moving on from that, I started making songs that made other people feel some type of way. And I'm like, what?
That's when you kind of see the effect was kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like this is something personal that you was kind of jotting down. Almost like a journal, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where you keep your thoughts, where you can't talk to nobody.
Definitely.
Where, you know, we always talk about mental health nowadays, but back in the day, we was our own therapists.
Straight up.
So when you're your own therapist and you kind of going through, you know, jotting down in your journal, now this journal songs.
Right.
And then when you see other people kind of like resonate with what you've written down, that's what songwriting I feel is all about.
Before text messages.
Yeah.
You're writing it.
Come on.
You're writing everything down, you know.
These kids don't know about writing in that journal, that notepad. Because now they just go on their phone and go to notes and then write everything through their notes.
Exactly. They don't got the blisters on the side of the finger, none of that. You know
they had to go sharpen that pencil. Let me not date us ourselves right now.
Yeah.
But like you with music, I mean, that being a getaway. Right. And we're talking about the songwriting. And for those who know, shout out Langa Sevilla being one of the legends in our island reggae game. Brother. But like for you, to kind of like get involved with gigs, kind of say, oh, you know, Langa come around and bring you around the likes of Fiji. And like at that time, now we're going into the realm of saying, okay, you're dealing with artists that you're used to listening with the fam, and now you're kind of in the same rooms and studios with them. How do you kind of like decipher, like, am I an artist? Am I a songwriter? What am I doing here? Like, what was it for you when you was in the room with Langa and Fiji?
I think it was more, I felt like, I was different, for sure. You know, because I wasn't local. I didn't have the language that they spoke at the time. You know, it was already invented. It was already established. Here comes this kid from the Bay Area with his own swag.
Come on,
and I didn't feel like it mixed, but I had so much to offer.
Yeah.
So you know, it's one of those things where you know you just hope and have faith in God that wherever He puts you, you're able to bloom. You know, as however you can. And I feel like that's what happened with me. You know, being there, I don't know, bro. I just whenever they asked for anything, I gave it my all.
Because you were another perspective from the Bay, a kid from Oakland.
Right.
So when you're writing as like, you know, a Hawaii songwriter and stuff, your element and your kind of take on it is different than somebody would be in Hawaii. And it reminds me of, shout out Azio, who used to do that from San Francisco.
Right.
He came from San Francisco to Hawaii, got with Fiji and them.
Right.
And when Fiji, you notice in the song with Fiji and AZ is different. Because he's kind of get that Bay Area side. And then now you got K Nova coming from Oakland, still a Bay Area factor, but now you got two sides of the bridge. You got San Francisco with Azio, now you got K Nova in Oakland. So when you come to in Hawaii and make beautiful music, I feel like it's the Mary J. Blige type version of singing it with feeling.
Right.
Like when you do a song, like all your songs, I always say, from Valentine, from Roses, these are like songs that you wouldn't really trip off of. Like, not like saying in a bad way that a Fiji or Langa singing, because it's coming from a different place.
Right.
Coming from Oakland, like these trials and all these things that you were writing down, did you see it kind of saying, okay, this would be different if it was on a track, whether it be like, Fiji laying out the songs and, just going for all these artists, because at that time that you were coming out, it was still not new, but island reggae was still newer to us in the Bay.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So tell us how that transition from you kind of saying, okay, this is still kind of new. How do I find my position in this whole thing?
Man, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was definitely hard. It's almost like you had to fake it to make it.
Yeah, come on.
You know what I'm saying? Because working with Fiji was amazing.
Yeah.
But one thing that I did have naturally was just writing lyrics.
Yeah.
So, I got to a point where I was writing lyrics and it didn't matter where I put it, whether it be R&B, it matched.
Yeah.
Whether it be reggae, it matched,
Yeah.
and it worked that way. But I still felt like my lingo was totally
different.
Some
of the verbiage.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the verbiage was different.
Very different, But I after we did the Lost Coast album, I actually came back home.
Yeah.
And I came
But
back.
after doing the Lost Coast album, that kind of gave you a taste
of island reggae
Come
music.
on, man.
Straight
because
up.
now you're going back home to the Bay where it could have been the hyphy movement for all we know. You know what I mean? But like you go from Lost Coast where, classics, you know what I mean?
Right.
Shout out to Yoshi, shout out all the boys on Lost Coast. But for you to kind of say, okay, now we did this Hawaii thing. Now I'm going back to the Bay. What's the move? Am I going to stick in this island reggae thing? Or I see everybody getting hyphy over here. Like what's the mindset at that point to kind of say, okay, what am I going to do? I'm at that fork in the road.
Right.
I go this island reggae route. I could go this hyphy route or this Bay Area rap route. What was it for you?
I came back, and I did have that. That was big. Something that I was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And because I loved both of them, I figured I'd mix it in.
Come on, mesh the two.
So I brought it together, and it was different. So I came out with the Roses album. I did 23 songs.
Man.
You feel me? On one album, and I had the Roses on there. I had a lot of songs on there. And I produced the whole album.